So for the body of my cup, that's going to be the waffle cone, I have some wafer vinyl from, which side? Here we go. Elhen Wholesale. They have this in 3 different sizes, as well as lots of different other vinyls. And this is the wafer maxi. So I have just cut this roughly to size with some overlap. I have sanded and cleaned my cup. I won't pretend for a second that I'm experienced at this, because I'm really not. So if this goes wrong and I make a mess, we may cut to the next bit of the video very quickly. But if I manage it, it'll be on the film, and I can't even peel back a corner at the moment. That's how well I'm doing. So I have seen generally people recommend that you peel back a small section and trim that off, and then go from there. I do not pretend that I work with vinyl. I generally don't. But in this case, it's just what I need. This is going to overlap. That's my squeegee. It's going to overlap. It's a little long on the bottom, but I don't mind that. And I haven't gone quite up to the very edge. It's like, ooh, a millimetre, if that, just round the edge. The top. So I'm going to pull down my backing paper. And turn this to get it to go, hopefully, along as straight, as even as possible. If it isn't quite straight on this edge at the end, it doesn't matter, because the edging is covered, I hope. Oh, it is going too far off now, just a minute. Ooh. Okay, that might be. Oh no, that's no good, is it? Look at the bottom edge. Hopefully, though, you get the principle of what I'm doing, even if I'm not doing it brilliantly. And I'm sure that in the end, this will still turn out beautifully. So I think I will leave you there and carry on applying this vinyl in my very amateurish way, and I will come back when I've sorted it. In case you're interested, at the bottom here I'm just creating slits, and I'm just going to pop the end of this vinyl around the bottom of the cup, because I don't have one of the flashy edge trimmer tools that lots of tumbler makers use to kind of give them a nice straight round bottom on their cups. I have looked at them, but because I'm in the UK, they are fairly price prohibitive for how much I would be likely to use one. So at the moment I haven't got one. I might do in the future, but right now I haven't. And there are a few little crinkles down at the bottom here, but I don't mind too much because I was already planning to kind of glitter the bottom section. So I'm just pushing those down and around the bottom of the cup. And then I do have like a bottom piece that then glues onto this section here. So that's all fairly good. Push those down. And get them nice and flat. and then I will decide what I'm moving on to next. So I have decided that I'm going to glitter the bottom before I add anything on the top. So I'm going to just do this with Mod Podge. I'm going to start with kind of a thick layer of the glue around this very bottom edge of the cup, where I want the glitter to be thickest. And then it's going to hopefully do a bit of a fade further up. So I'm just going to sort of take that glue a little further up here, and hopefully that will all work quite well. So here I just have some iridescent white glitter. You could use whatever colour glitter you want, or not glitter at all. It's really helpful, isn't it, when your paper rolls up like that. And I'm just going to go around the bottom edge first to get good coverage there. And obviously I can always do a second coat if you can still see too much of the vinyl through the glitter, but it might just be nice seeing some of that. And then I'm just going to sort of let it fall a bit down into the glue further down, so it's a little bit lighter. Obviously this will look different once the glue is dried, because the Mod Podge currently is white because it's wet. So I'm going to let this all dry and brush it off, and then we'll see if it needs another coat. So I have some Fimo here in the colour chocolate, and we are going to use that to make a flake to go in the ice cream topper. I don't use polymer clay very often, but I needed something robust that wasn't going to swell when it dried. Because obviously flakes are not kind of puffy. We want the lines defined, so I'm just going to, I can't find my actual polymer clay cutter, so I'm using my sort of icing smoother clay cutter I mean, that's quite chunky. Try and get the right size that I want for my flake. That didn't work because there's a centre in the way. Let's try that again. And then trim it down this way. That's probably a fairly good flake size and shape. Obviously it's shorter than a real flake because I'm just going to pop a toothpick in here before I bake it, so that I can insert that into the ice cream, and we're not going to waste a load of clay that you're not going to see further down. So now I just need to sort of, again, this would be better probably with a proper clay blade. I'm going to try and mark it and make it look, you can see that, like a flake before I cook it in the oven. to get some finer lines once I've gone through with this. Try and make it look as realistic as possible. It's very warm and my hands are sticking to the clay. Pull out a few tools and we'll see. I'll leave that for now. And get some sort of finer detail on here with the clay tools. As you see, I'm just sort of marking it, scraping it, so because you want it to look a little bit like flaky around the edges, as a real flake does. And some of them might get squashed as we move it around, but just want to do my best to create markings in the clay like this. So I will carry on with that until I'm happy, and then I will bake that in the oven. So while the glitter is drying on the cup, we're going to work on the lid. Here I have some lightweight filler, stirred up well to get it nice and smooth with a little bit of white acrylic paint in my piping bag. And we're going to be piping the whippy top onto the lid. I've got my flake ready and my chocolate drizzle to do like sauce over it. Oh, but what I haven't got, 1 second, is my sprinkles. Right, now I have my polymer clay sprinkles here already. Thought I had everything, but no. So I'm going to start by literally piping sort of all she says as it all starts coming out the back. I've overfilled my bag a little bit, and so it all wants to squeeze out the top when I try and twist it. Am I in the shot? Yes, I'm going to squeeze a bit in the middle here to help with the height. And then I'm just going to pipe, trying to avoid the hole. Like that. Where's my lid? The lid, it's not a lid, it's a wipe, just to keep the tip moist. I don't want to sort of tip it too much to show you, because I'll end up destroying my nice little whippy ice cream. So I'm going to pop a bit of super glue onto my stick end here, because obviously I want this to stay in. I think I'm going to put it on this side and just push it down. Oh, do you know what I might have done wrong here? Hadn't thought about needing to prop it up, because it isn't going to stay. Right, plan B. I'm going to take it out. There is, oh my goodness, where am I going? There is a hole where it was, so we're going to leave that to harden, and then I can glue it back in, probably with my resin. So I'm going to do my chocolate drip. I'm going to kind of start down the middle and then drip it down the sides. Like so, and then add in my sprinkles. So that now needs to go completely hard. It is slightly tilted, but I don't think it will matter when I've got the, there we go. Oh, do you know what? Do you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm mad now. I'm going to lift this off. I'm going to have another go. That's the beauty of this. You can just do that because it's not, you know, it's not dried yet or anything. I'm going to have to just a hand further down my piping bag. I think that's a bit better, isn't it? It's a bit bigger, a bit more substantial. I'm still not sure this will stay. So again, I'm going to like pop it in and then take it out. I'm going to wipe off some of the filler. And then when that is dry, I can put that back in. I think what I might do is a bit of a different drip, like that. What do we think? More ice creamy? I just think that might, this one, the little down here, this one might be more like whipped cream hot chocolate. I might be wrong, but there's some sprinkles. Like that. And then obviously that needs a couple of days to dry nice and hard, which is why I'm doing it now, so that I can pop this to the side out of the way and leave this to set. The glitter on the cup is mostly dry. I did do a second coat and I'm happy with how that looks. So now we're going to do a chocolate drip around the edge, because as you can see, there's a big discrepancy in my the edge of my vinyl, and I did say at the time it's going to be covered. I am also thinking about adding a decal onto the front. I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to do the chocolate drip first, leave that for a couple of days to dry, and then we'll see. So I'm using my tulip, a slick paint, and I've just got I was going to use this silicone tool, but it's actually covered in resin, just to help me spread the drip. So I'm just going to start by going around the edge I don't know if it helps. I don't think I want my cup cradle because I want to be able to tilt it. My cup never feels as big as when you have to go around the edge of it. And then I'm just kind of going to use my tool to, like, I don't want it too high up because obviously I don't want it over the edge. I may need to give that a little bit of a wipe, but I do want to cover the top edge of this vinyl. That's about, what have we done? I keep thinking I've got round to the beginning and then I see a bit more white and I'm like, oh no, I haven't. I'm just going to run my finger around this top edge, which is probably a bad idea because now I've got to wipe my finger one moment. Right, so I'm going to go around, we'll start from the seam and then I'll know that I've gone all the way around. I'm just going to add another layer over the top of the first layer and then I'm going to let it form my drip down the bottom of the cup. I think I might have wiped too much on that edge there. We shall see in a moment. And my plan now is to kind of tap it here like this and to encourage the dripping. Made a mess already. I'm just trying to decide if I do want this white covered, so I'm just going to pop a little more there. Just use a bit of a wipe. Just to clean up that top edge. There we go. And then I think I'm going to add some sprinkles to that as well, because it's like it's come off the ice cream, probably something like that. I should have had something to catch my sprinkles, but I haven't, so I'll just try and be a bit careful. This always takes longer than you think it's going to, making these cups, but once I get started, I get into it and it doesn't matter anymore because I'm not going to leave it unfinished. So I think few more down the front there. Oh. Okay. So yeah, that's going to then be put aside to dry. It will continue to drip a little bit more, which is great. But yes, that and the top need to dry before we can go any further. Right, so I'm hoping this is light enough this morning. It's very early, it's 6 AM, but my house is quiet, and so I thought I would nip and do this little video. This is nice and hard and dry. I gave it sort of 2 to 3 days, and now I'm just going to take this little brush and cover the whole thing in UV resin. It might need 2 coats to make sure I've got everything. I won't make you sit and watch me do 2 coats. I will just start it off. Obviously the resin seals everything and protects it, but also means that when you wash your lid, this isn't going to get wet, because obviously it will break down and disintegrate in water. So this may take a little while because there's lots of little crevices and different edges to get around, and you want to cover it all. Obviously you could do this with epoxy resin as well, but obviously then you have to wait for the curing time, and I just don't want to have to wait that long between coats. So I'm just using this. So you just carry on like this all the way around the entire piece, making sure, I'll show you that bit. I'm going to squeeze some resin down in the gap between the flake and the filler in there. That will help to act as a glue to keep this flake in place. But yes, that's all there is to it. And I will finish that off camera and be back for the next step. Here is the finished tumbler itself. As you can see, I ended up adding some silver glitter to the bottom because I felt like it needed more of a pop. I think maybe I should have added like one of the colours of the sprinkles so that it toned, but I still like the silver, but I think I maybe should have done pink. This is what the bottom looks like with the like pad on it that comes with the tumblers that I buy, and I really like that because I think it finishes it off really nicely. I put glitter, as you can see, in one of the last coats of epoxy resin I added on here. This actually took 5 coats to get smooth, so I think next time I might think about not doing the drip with the fabric paint, but doing it, getting my coats of resin on first and then maybe doing a resin drip or something like that to make that process a little bit easier and quicker. That is also why I haven't added a decal, because it would need at least one more coat, and I'd had enough putting coats on this tumbler. But I still really like it as it is without. And if we bring the lid in here, if I can get it all in shot. I'll just push that down. And that is how it looks all together, and I think it's just really fun. And there are so many possibilities of different colour combinations, and obviously you could make ice creams using the ice cream scoop with your filler instead of the whippy version, and lots of other things you could do on here. So I hope you found that interesting and enjoyable, and if you do something like this yourself, please tag me, I would love to see. And I'll hopefully be back soon with something else to show you. Bye.